Artificial intelligence is moving so fast, it's almost hard to keep up. And with all this incredible progress comes one massive question. Who gets to write the rules? All right, let's dive into the global race to govern AI.
So to really get what's at stake here, let's look at something happening right now. The NAACP is sounding the alarm, saying that when we use AI in policing, it can actually make existing biases worse and break down trust. This isn't some sci-fi problem for the future, it's a today problem.
And right there, that's the core conflict, isn't it? On one hand, you have civil liberties groups who are deeply concerned about fairness and privacy. But on the other hand, you have law enforcement saying, hey, these tools are vital for keeping people safe and using our resources better. It's the classic showdown, promise versus peril.
This whole debate is really just a small snapshot of a much, much bigger global competition. The race isn't just about who can build the smartest AI anymore. It's about who gets to write the rule book that will shape its future for all of us.
So how are different countries trying to tackle this? Well, there's no single playbook. Instead, what we're seeing are three really distinct philosophies taking shape, each with its own set of priorities and, its own end game.
First, let's follow the money, because it tells a big part of the story. Just look at this slide. The United States is completely dominating when it comes to private investment in AI. And this isn't just about big numbers. It's about a culture where venture capital and giant tech companies are the ones pushing innovation forward. That economic firepower, it gives the U.S. massive influence and helps explain why their approach to regulation is, well, a bit more hands-off.
And that leads us to these three competing models. Think of it this way. First, you've got the EU acting as the referee. They're focused on rights, safety, and making sure everyone plays by a comprehensive set of rules. Then there's the US, who's more like the coach. The main goal here is to win, to stay on top technologically, so they give their star players, the big tech companies, guidance and support instead of hard and fast rules. And finally, you have China, playing the role of the architect. This is a state-led, top-down approach, carefully designing a whole tech ecosystem to ensure stability and global influence. So yeah, three very, very different game plans.
All right. Let's zoom in on the most ambitious of these models, the European Union's AI Act. A lot of people are watching this one, wondering if it's going to become the blueprint for the rest of the world.
And you've got to understand, this isn't just another piece of legislation. The AI Act is the first serious attempt by any major global power to create a complete top-to-bottom rulebook for artificial intelligence. The ambition here isn't just for Europe. It's to set the standard for everyone, everywhere. So how does it actually work? Well, think of it like a pyramid of risk. Right at the very top, you have unacceptable risk. Things like government social scoring systems. They're just banned, outright, gone. Then you have high-risk AI, which gets hit with really strict regulations. Below that is limited risk, stuff like chatbots, where the main rule is transparency. You have to be told you're not talking to a human. And at the very bottom, you have minimal risk AI, like in your video games or spam filters, which is basically left alone so innovation can just do its thing. Okay, so that high-risk category, that's where this whole thing gets really serious. We're talking about any AI application that could pose a major threat to a person's health, their safety, or their most fundamental human rights. And what does that mean in the real world? Well, it includes things like predictive policing. Yep, bringing us right back to where we started. But it's also about the AI that helps manage our power grids, that has a say in whether you get a job or get into school, or that decides if you're approved for a loan. These are all places where a bad algorithm could literally change your life, and that's exactly why the EU says we need the strongest guardrails here. Now, if you're wondering, yeah, but will these rules actually have any teeth? Just look at the EU's track record with its big data privacy law, GDPR. They handed out over 1.3 billion euros in fines in a single year. So yeah, it's a pretty safe bet that not following the AI Act is going to be a very, very expensive mistake for any company that tries it.
Okay, the EU's approach is powerful for sure, but it also raises a huge question. How do you keep people safe without slowing down progress to a crawl? Well, this is where a really cool idea comes into play: regulatory sandboxes.
I mean, that's the big fear, right? That if we make the rules too rigid, we might accidentally kill off the very innovation that could solve some of our biggest problems. So, is there a better way to do this? Is it possible to be both safe and fast? The answer just might be something called an AI sandbox. Okay, think of it like a safe playground. It's a controlled space where the tech companies and the government regulators can actually work side by side. The innovators get to test their brand new AI in a real-world setting, and the regulators get to learn about the tech and help write smart rules for it, all before it gets released to the public.
And listen, this isn't just some theory. As of early 2025, there were already 66 of these sandboxes up and running around the world. That number tells you everything you need to know. This is a serious global trend. It shows that governments everywhere are searching for smarter, more flexible ways to keep up with the insane speed of technology.
And building one of these isn't a free-for-all. It's a really structured process. You start by setting clear goals. Then you plan out the rules of the game. After that, it's go time, the actual testing, which is followed by being totally transparent about the results. And finally, you evaluate everything you learned to help write smarter, better regulations down the road. It's a methodical way to experiment.
And here's the kicker. This whole idea connects right back to the EU's grand plan. The AI Act, with all its tough rules, actually requires member states to set up these sandboxes. It's like a built-in acknowledgement that even the best rulebook needs a flexible way to adapt to whatever comes next.
So, where does all this leave us? Well, we're standing at a massive turning point in the history of technology. The next chapter in the story of AI, it's still being written, right now.
You've got Brussels, Washington, and Beijing, and all of them are wrestling with the exact same puzzle. How do you unlock all the amazing potential of AI without also unleashing its dangers? It's the ultimate tightrope walk between innovation and protection.
So whether you've got a referee, a coach, or an architect in charge, the stated goal is pretty much the same: to create a future where AI actually helps people and does it safely and fairly. But the path to get there? Well, that's where things get really interesting, and the stakes could not be higher.
And all of this leaves us with one final, absolutely critical question. As technology speeds up exponentially, can our rules and our wisdom actually keep up? In other words, can we build the guardrails as fast as we're building the rocket ship? The answer to that is going to define the next decade for every single one of us.
Are you up to know how to create such content on demand with ease? Visit proactus.com, the one-stop shop for lawyers seeking assistance to leverage AI and grow their business, and book your free demo.